Good morning, everyone, and welcome to ERA's Monthly Direction. Before we begin, here's a quick invitation to join our growing ERA VIP community. As an ERA VIP, you'll enjoy invitation to events and new launch previews, early access to the latest property insights and market trends, and curated partners deals and privileges. Plus, from now till 31st December 2026, you stand a chance to win an iPhone 17 Pro, with one lucky winner selected every month. If you are already an ERA VIP member, simply log in to your account to enter the draw. Sign up now at vip.era.com.sg. Singapore's property market continues to evolve, with new launches seeing strong demand despite changing market conditions and policy updates. So what are the buyers purchasing today, and what do recent EC policy changes, housing launches, and land sales tell us about where the market could be heading next? Before we proceed, please note, while every effort has been made to ensure the accuracy of the information shared today, ERA accepts no responsibility for any loss or inconvenience caused by errors or omissions. The insights, opinions, and examples presented during this seminar are for informational and educational purposes only. As the property market remains dynamic, we strongly encourage you to consult a trusted ERA advisor before making any property-related decisions. Let me now introduce our speaker for today's session, Mr. Marcus Chu, CEO of ERA Singapore, ERA Asia Pacific, and APAC Realty. With close to 30 years of experience in real estate, Marcus has played a pivotal role in shaping ERA's growth across the region. Known for his strategic market insights and leadership, he continues to guide consumers and advisors through Singapore's evolving property landscape with clarity and confidence. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Marcus Chu.
Hi, this time we're talking about the new shape of Singapore housing demand. Well, today I will be touching on 5 points. Number 1, buyers' demand today. Number 2, EC new policies and its implications. Number 3, new homes launches. And number 4, land costs and its implications. And number 5, beyond residential investments. Let's get started with buyers' demands today. So where are buyers putting their money in today's market? Majority of the buyer, make a guess where they put their money? Absolutely. Majority of buyers put their monies in BTO flats. Not HDB resale, not private property, but BTO. Because BTO remains affordable and most attractive payment scheme. This slide refers to the type of flats and its prices. So for 3-room flats in Tampines, for example, the current BTO price is about 400,000. A 4-room flat in Toa Payoh, the current price is about 550,000. And a 4-room flat in Red Hill, it's 600,000. And a 5-room flat in Sembawang is 550,000. Don't you think this is affordable? So let's take a look at its current demands and where are they? The overwhelming demand that we see in BTO flats are as follows. They are in towns like Bukit Merah, which are all the prime flats, Sembawang, which is the standard flat, Tampines, standard flats, and Toa Payoh plus flats. So the flat types ranges from 3 to 4-room flats. And take a look at these numbers here. The number of units in totality is 3,446 in the month of February BTO this year. Guess what is the number of applicants? It's as many as 9,061 applicants. And what does this mean? This means there is an overwhelming demand of more than 2 times the number of units available. Of course, if we were to take a look at the first-time applications and the second-timer application, it will show that there is much more second-timer applicants than first-time applicants. And perhaps it's because second-timer has already got a flat and they are upgrading to a bigger or a newer BTO flats after they have fulfilled their MOP. So that means they already have an asset for its upgrade. So there are more of such person than first-timer who currently are first-time buying property. So bear in mind that although BTO is very attractive, there is also requirement and conditions such as household income not exceeding 14,000 and must be Singaporean forming family nucleus. And of course, the type of BTO flats also means you need to minimally occupy in the flats for either 5 to 10 years. If it's standard, it's 5 years. If it's plus and plum, it's 10 years. In the month of April 2026, resale HDB flats have also seen pretty good demand. As many as close to 2,000 HDB resale flats were transacted in April, out of which $138 million flats were transacted. So we say there's a lot of $1 million flats, actually is less than 10% of the overall HDB resale numbers. And what about the quantum of flats that is transacted? Actually, majority, which is more than 51%, is transacted between 500,000 to 750,000. And on average, they are around 80 years remaining lease. So what it means is that most HDB resale flats demands are towards the newer flats. So if someone's it's not able to book a BTO flats, all right, especially the second timer, they will go to search for flats in the resale market, which is the numbers that's presented here. If they are within the income requirement of booking a EC, a new EC, then they can also apply for the new EC launch, which has quite a number this year and next year. But do you know, recently on the 8th of May, something has changed for the EC properties. Yes, there is a new EC policies, and it was introduced on the 8th of May. And what does that mean to you if you qualify to purchase a new EC? And what is the implications to the market ahead? Why is it introduced? Is to provide a more affordable options for Singaporeans who aspire to own private property. But of course, it's priced out of private property and also priced out of BTO flats, meaning it was called the sandwich crust. And the ECs were built and sold by private developers. So the features and the facilities in ECs is similar to private condos. But the interesting thing is, it is priced lower than condos because of its subsidy that is provided by HDB. So it's like a hybrid class of property. So that was introduced about 30 years ago. So let's take a look at why the policy changed first. If we take a look at the total number of resale EC transaction in 2025 last year, the whole year is close to 2,000 units of resale EC transactions. Out of which, from all these 2,000 units of EC transactions, 8 units were 5 years from TOP. And that means they fulfill the minimum occupation period. Only 8 units for the whole year 2025. But for 6 years from TOP, it's as many as 208 units, which account for about 10% of last year EC transactions. And followed by year 7 from TOP, 15%. Followed by year 8 TOP, 13.7%. And year 9 from TOP, 15.4%. And year 10 from TOP, 9.4%. So in totality, 65% of EC owner took profits within 10 years from TOP. So let's take a look at the profitability of ECs. Bear in mind, these are based on transactions that is concluded in 2025. Solid profit experience from EC deals based on resale transactions in 2025. So if we look at the profits, it's as high as 800,000, all right, 700,000, 600 over thousands, and 200 over thousands. So immediately after MOP, we witness huge profit that is achieved from owning a new EC. So a lot of demands actually swarm into new EC launches in most recent year. Well, if we take a look in over the last 5 years, since 2021 to the first 4 months of 2026, if we compare the new launch average prices of OCR condominium and new ECs launches, this is what we discover. There is a shrinking price gap between new ECs and new OCR condos. So back in 2021, the price gap is about 38%. New launch condo, about 1,006 per square foot. EC, about 1,001 plus per square foot. Back then, 5 years ago. But today, OCR new launch averaging at 2,278 per square foot. And new EC launch price, 1,843 per square foot. It has risen a lot. And what this shows us is that the price gap has even narrowed from 38 to 24%, which means buying an EC in today's market is very close in pricing as compared to OCR condo. So what is the new EC framework? Here you are. The new changes of EC applies on EC land that were bought on and after 8th of May 2026. So these new EC rules don't apply to EC land that is bought by developer prior to 8th May 2026. So these are the three main changes to ownership of new ECs. Number one, it's the MOP, the minimum occupation period of ECs, have increased to 10 years to the owner of new EC. So will this apply to future buyers of EC? No, only to the first owner of the new EC. It has increased from 5 years to 10 years. Second policy is on the payment scheme. So prior to 8 May, there is deferred payment scheme of choice by the buyer. Moving forward, no more deferred payment scheme. Third policies is that first-time buyers are given 90% of the overall EC numbers of units. So this clearly favors the first-timer because developer must reserve 90% of the units for first-timer versus 70% previously. So this priority periods is also extended from 1 month previously of the launch to 2 years. So what this means is previously, after 1 month of that priority period, the second-timer will be allowed to purchase units that is unsold from that 70% priority. But right now, second-timer can only do so after 2 years of the launch. And instead of 70% reserved previously for first-timer, now is 90% reserved for first-timer. Then we talk about second-timer 2 years later. So second-time buyers will have less chance, obviously, of getting an EC unit. So why this EC change? As I said, price gap has narrowed between EC new launch price versus new OCR condo price. This is to reinforce long-term home ownership and stability for the EC market. So that's number one reasons why the change. Or because the median new EC prices have risen 57% over the last 5 years. Next is stronger priority for first-timer. So this means lesser competition from second-timer and potentially lower prices for buyers' affordability for the first-timer. And thirdly, capability for financing is also taken into consideration. This means the authorities want financial prudency among buyers. So first-time buyer, bear in mind, there's no more deferred payment scheme, meaning you need to start servicing your mortgage earlier. So let's take a look at the implication of each of these policies. So EC change number one, MOP increased to 10 years. The implications is reduced speculative buyers, means this group of buyers may have to sit on the sidelines and not able to get EC units. Perhaps I'm referring to the second-time upgraders. And the implications is also a more sustainable price growth, and longer holding periods means harder for upgraders to purchase a new EC units in future. EC change number 2, removal of deferred payment scheme. The implications to first-timer means when there is no deferred payment schemes, it needs you to service your loan earlier. So without deferred payment scheme, for second-timer, they may have to consider this. They need to service 2 housing loans concurrently, existing HDB loans and new EC loan. So possibly there will be smaller pool of second-timer, or the second-timer may need to sell off their existing property in order to buy their new EC. So the third EC change, first-timer 90%, upgraders 10% after 2 years. So what this means to the market is easier and more options clearly for first-timer, but less chance for second-timers. So this will mean second-timer may reconsider other housing options, such as HDB resale flat, private resale condos, or even new condos launch, because there is supply constraint in new ECs for second-timer. Developer may recalibrate their bidding strategy for EC's government land sales, perhaps not to be too aggressive due to the EC policy change for all upcoming EC sites. So talking about upcoming EC sites, they are affected. If the site is bought by developer after 8 May, how about those before 8 May that is purchased by developer? They are not affected. So let me show you where are all these projects. These are all the EC projects that is not affected because they are purchased by, the sites are purchased by developer before 8 May 2026. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And out of the 6, 1 already launched, which is Coastal Cabana, and the other 5 in pipeline launches. Sites that is on sales after 8 May 2026, where the new EC policies applies, include 2 sites, which is 1 and 2 in Cabana Drive and Sembawang Drive. So these are the 2. So if we take a look at the current 6 that is not affected, don't you think that this is the last chance for second-timer to be able to enjoy the current EC policies? Certainly, it does. For example, Coastal Cabana has a total number of 748 units, and it has already sold almost 80% of units right now. So there's left about 20%, which is about 150 units unsold as of today. So if you are a second-timer wanting to buy a new EC, you may want to consider the ECs that is currently on sales, which is like Coastal Cabana in the east, or the upcoming ones, and looks like all of them, it's in the north, which is Sanja Close, Woodland Drive 17, there's 2 sites there, Sembawang Road, and also Mitonia Close. So that's all about new EC's availability in the market. The directions of the buyer is that, well, besides new ECs, there's also many other home options, such as resale EC, resale condos, and new condo sales. We take reference from April 2026 EC and condos transactions. And these are the number of units that were sold and their pricing. Okay, let me give you an overview. Resale EC. Actually, there is 119 resale EC transactions in last month, April. Is at a median price of 1.56 million at 1,458 per square foot. Comparing to a new EC close to 1,008 per square foot, So there is still a disparity of lower pricing for resale EC. Of course, your lease is shorter than the renew lease of 99 years. So EC transactions that's less than 15 years, its median price is about 1.6 million. Currently in the market, about $1,005 per square foot. Majority of the transactions of EC resale is in this category, ECs that's less than 15 years. So ECs that's more than 15 years, that was transacted last month, there's only 14 units, averaging price 1.23 million at only 1,078 per square foot. So if you're looking for something that is around $1,000 per square foot, right, you can certainly look for resale EC that is more than 15 years. How about resale condos? So if we look at resale condos, last month there is a total of about 900 units transacted. Those that is less than 15 years, it's about 571. Median price, about 1.6 million also, same as resale EC quantum. How about the per square foot? It's at 1,853 per square foot for resale condos. So resale EC, about 1,005. Resale OCR condo, about 1,008 plus. Okay, those that is more than 15 years, 324 units were transacted for resale condos, and they are priced at 1.92 million, averaging 1,612 per square foot. Now take a look at new launch for April 2026. There's 1,543 units transacted. Looks like it's so much more than the resale condos. Resale condo only 902, new homes is 1,005. So it also depends on when the developer launch the new projects. So April, we see a bumper launch of new projects. That's why when there's more take-up, the transaction is more than resale market. Otherwise, resale usually is more than new launch. So we talk about the median price of new launch in different region. OCR, we are experiencing a median price of 1.95 million at 2,174 per square foot. RCR, 2.76 million at 2,752 per square foot. And CCR, 2.61 million at 3,371 per square foot. So these are the median pricing, which also represent the sweet spot. Currently, the sweet spot has increased to about $2 to $3 million for new launch condo. Transaction for each region, we see a huge number of OCR transaction last month at 1,353 units, RCR 160 units, and CCR 30 units. So as I talk so much about new launch, let's dive into it. So new launches in April, we witnessed these two major launch that account for that 1,005 at least, majority of their numbers. Tengah Garden Residences was April best seller. 853 units were sold, representing 99% over launch weekend at an average pricing of approximately 1.86 million at 2,120 per square foot. And Tengah Garden Residence is at OCR region. How about Vela Bay? Vela Bay also saw strong sales. 371 units were sold, representing 72% of the whole development units on launch day at an average pricing of 2.35 million, around 2,886 per square foot. This is only in April 2026. Let's take a look at the whole year 2026 up to date. We witness definitely strong demand for new launches. A lot of the new launches actually experience more than 90% take-up rate at the booking weekends. Some more than 80% take-up rates, some more than 70% take-up rate, and the remaining still receive an overwhelming response. So this demand is not just resilient, it is decisive. Strong take-ups reflects one thing: confidence of the market. New launches are selling because values is still compelling. Now take a look at land cost and its implication. So without land, developers cannot be building new condos, right? So where do the land come from? It comes from government land sales and also en bloc sales. Majority from government land sales, which are all 99 leasehold property. So if we were to look at 2025, or rather mid-2025 all the way till May 2026 right now, these are all the government land sales for new private condos and also new EC development. And these are the record number of bidders, which are developers, all right, that bid for the site. The average number of bidders per site is 5, which means every one site there is 5 developers challenging to own that site by submitting their best bid. So over and over again, developer has to bid higher in order to secure the land site. Otherwise, they will not be able to get the site. So because of this, record land prices has been witnessed over and over again from government land sales. So the most recent records that we have witnessed is in RCR at the Dover Drive site in March 2026. All right, for that site in OCR, there are 5 developers bidding for it. And the winning bids come at the land rate of 1,556 per square foot per plot ratio. So that is a record in RCR. And in EC land cost, back in January 2026, because EC is in OCR, 3 developer bid, and the winning bids at land rates of 794 per square foot per plot ratio. So that is also an EC record land price. And November last year, at Bukit Timah Road, at the site of Newton, next to the MRT station, there is a CCR site. 8 developers contested for it. The winning land rate is at 1820 per square foot per plot ratio for CCR, and that sets a record for CCR. So all these land costs will mean development costs. If land cost has set record, means developers are faced with higher land costs and coupled with inflation due to geopolitical risks and what's happening in the world, including the wars that we see in the Middle East, construction costs will escalate. Development charges will also stay stable high. So this means future launches prices will also be rising. So let's take an example for the Lentor Garden sites that was sold in last year, April 2025. Lentor Gardens was awarded at 920 per square foot per plot ratio. Clearly, 1 year later, currently Lentor Central site, which is in the same precinct, was awarded for 1277 per square foot per plot ratio. So it clearly shows that land cost has been rising. And how about other sites in CCR and RCR? If you take a look at it, last year in CCR, Dunyan Road site was awarded for 1410 per square foot per plot ratio. And that is a CCR site, that is 1 year ago. And this year, RCR land price has superseded CCR land price from a year ago. Right now, RCR in Dover Road site is at a land rate of 1556 per square foot per plot ratio, compared to last year's CCR site at 1410 per square foot. Because this year's CCR site, which is the next plot next to, at Dunyan Road, there is another plot, is awarded at 1625 per square foot per plot ratio, clearly higher than last year. So every year land cost has been increasing. So that means every year new launch price will also be increasing because of the escalating development costs. So if we put them into 3 tables here, table 1 shows 2026 new launch. Obviously, this land were purchased a year ago. They are now launched in 2026. The total number of launch in 2026 is 11,800 plus, out of which 9,005 is new private condos and 2,003 is new ECs. How about 2027? So 2026 and 2027 are based on government land sales until second half of 2025. All right, so the government land sales first half 2026 is not accounted for yet. Already in 2027, we have seen a total number of 9,518 units slated to be launched next year. Okay, out of which 8,006 are new private condos and 870 are new ECs. How about 2028? All right, we expect to see more government land sales, all right, that is yet to be purchased by developer that will be launched in 2027 and 2028 and beyond. So, in a nutshell, this is what's happening. HDB BTO supply increasing. HDB resale prices slowing down. Government land costs has been rising. Private home pricing rising. Affordability of buyers strong, which means there is windows for upgraders still. Means opportunity is still there. Is that if you wait, your HDB may grow slower for the upgraders, while private property will continue to move up. Maybe that's not the wise move. Perhaps it's wiser if you look at doing an upgrade to private property if financially you are prudent to do so. Finally, beyond home market, is there any other opportunities that we can look into for investment? If you already own a home, buying a second home means you will incur additional buyer's stamp duty, which will means it will affect on your investment return. So beyond the residential homes, let us review what happens in April 2026. There will industrial property launch in April. In fact, the most recent one is Citigo at Macpherson. It has achieved 100% sold on launch day. So, phenomenal results for industrial property too. So why these buyers are buying industrial property? Perhaps it's for their own use or for investment purpose. So for own use or investment purpose, the good news is there's no ABSD payable if you own multiple properties for industrial property purchase. Next is for its own use. It also means it's very versatile. 60% of the unit's floor area must be used for industrial activities. The remaining 40% can be used for ancillary and supporting activities, of course, subjected to the authorities' approval, such as office, showroom, studio, staff recreation area. And for all these industrialists, you do have staff, besides using it for manufacturing productions and software design, your staff can use the other 40% for its ancillary and supporting activities. And of course, the buyers of industrial property are also taking advantage of strong Singapore economy. So they are actually riding on the wave of Singapore's strong economy, which is consistent GDP growth. Do you know that Singapore GDP growth is above 4% in 2024 and 2025? And 4.6% in first quarter of 2026. Next is strong Singapore dollar. So Singapore dollars remain strong and stable. This gives investor confidence. And next is ability to attract foreign investments. Singapore foreign direct investment flows rose 8.4% on year basis to reach 197 billion in 2025. That's strength, isn't it? So because of this, some savvy buyers actually spotted industrial property to be their investment portfolio. And how they spot? Perhaps it's based on location, connectivity, and practical layout. So rarely industrial properties are near MRT stations. So connectivity means proximity to transport nodes and easier for workers to commute to work, which is valued by the company. So higher demand for such industrial means you will not be short of tenants and companies are willing to pay more rent. What about practical layouts? That means flexibility. It allows company to change the space to suit their needs, hence allowing more companies to rent the space. So there is growing business eco-hub in Jurong Lake District, and how to identify industrial property there. In areas with lots of industry, especially near MRTs, and being near industrial nodes, you can also tap into the business synergy. So imagine you are the industrial property landlords. You will not be short of tenant because businesses will want to be near their suppliers and choose your property. And businesses will also like to be near MRT and housing estates. Why? Because it's easier for their worker. So there is a growing business ecosystem in Jurong Lake District right now. And they are near major industrial nodes, such as Jurong Lake District, Jurong Innovation District, and Tuas Megaport. Near to more than 3,000 multinational companies are also in Jurong Lake District. And in the next 20 to 30 years and beyond, Jurong Lake District will provide some 100,000 new jobs. So that's it for today's monthly directions. The key takeaway today is this: Singapore home demands remain buoyant in 2026. EC market will see radical changes. Expect movement for projects in the pipeline. And finally, beyond residential, industrial properties provides investment opportunities for some of you. I'm Marcus Chu here, CEO of ERA Singapore, signing out. In case if you want to connect and follow me, this is the QR code that you can scan and we can stay connected. Thank you very much. And if you want to leave behind a feedback, this is the QR code for you to scan and give us your valuable feedback. I see you in the next monthly directions. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus, for the valuable insights and market perspectives shared today. We hope today's session has provided greater clarity on the latest trends shaping Singapore's housing demand and what they could mean for your next move. If you would like to explore the opportunities discussed today, our ERA trusted advisors are here to assist you. And before we end today's session, don't forget to join our ERA VIP community. Remember, one lucky winner will be selected every month to win an iPhone 17 Pro. Sign up now at vip.era.com.sg. Stay connected with us on ERA's social media channels, and we look forward to seeing you at the next monthly direction. Thank you, and have a wonderful day ahead.